Hi, this is Scott Garibay, and today I'm going to be talking about Hankrin Ferinale's Index Card RPG, specifically the section, the Gamemaster Advice section. And it's really stellar. Index Card RPG, 5 out of 5 star tabletop role-playing game. I highly recommend purchasing it. You can get the PDF over at RPG Review, our RPG Review. So it really is, I'm sorry, Drive-Through RPG. Sorry about that. Okay, so I actually want to talk about his advice for Game Masters, but I'm actually going to interrupt myself here at the beginning with just a quick section. So I read through this whole thing. It's only 192 pages long. And then I'm going back and I'm just kind of rereading sections and just kind of basking in the glow of this game, because it is tremendous. I've never seen a tabletop role-playing game like this. And the reason why is it tells stories faster. And I think, like, if you don't know this about the world, like, this is a piece of wisdom that you need to set in your mind and heart right now. Speed wins everything now. Speed wins the world. Speed wins the world. Speed wins the world, right? It's just, I work in information technology, and I think, and information technology is gobbling the whole world up. And, and in IT, you absolutely have to learn this lesson. Speed wins the world, okay? And I think it's every bit as true in tabletop role-playing games. And Hankrin Ferinale, with Index Card RPG, it has found a way to tell compelling stories with a game master and players faster. And that is better because he's going to get more games out there, more players, all of it. It's just tremendous. All right. So I was reading in his book, there is an adventure module. There's multiple adventures in this book. And one of them is called Speed Kills. And it is a post-apocalyptic Mad Max type adventure, right? And so, since he's putting in a Mad Max type adventure in the middle of his book, right? He needs vehicle construction. He needs vehicle construction rules, and he needs chase rules. I'm not kidding. Index Card RPG has all of its vehicle construction rules and its chase rules on one page. One page. I have seen tabletop role-playing games that take vehicle construction and designate an entire book to it, right? I have seen many games that give 3 or 4 pages or even an entire chapter to chase rules. It is crazy. Like, the idea, Hankrin Ferinale, like, he just makes so much out of so little. Like, the words he uses are just so full of game and fun and enthusiasm and brilliance. You have got to see this game. It's incredible. It's really something. All right, so let's get into his Game Master advice, right? So he had a lot of it, right? And one of them is just the do's: danger, energy, and wonder. Okay, so do this, and I don't think he used Mountain Dew's slogan in there, but do the do. You need your game needs to have danger. And you want to be putting your players in danger fairly frequently, and that danger needs to be real. They need to feel that, right? Energy. The energy for the whole table comes from you. Critical. You have to tell every game master this. Is so true. That the energy for the table comes from the game master. And this one, I love this last one. Wonder is so important. You need to give, your world has to be special. There needs to be something in it that is not in this world and not in any world, right? Like, and the way he captures this is just really great, and I really love this in there. All right. He also talks about the 3 T's when you're designing adventures. Actually, these 3 T's were for combat, and it is threat, timer, and treat. Okay, so you need to have a threat in there, and so he gives really good advice for building a monster, or building threats that aren't monsters, just traps and things like that. Also, he said with combat, the way you make your combat awesome is you always put a timer on it, right? So now, basically, you can break that rule every now and then. But generally, you want a timer. So, so there's a bunch of skeletons, and they're all attacking the party. But then one of them realizes, oh my gosh, that dam over there, this storm's been raging for a day, and that dam's going to break, and we're all going to get swept away, and we could drown to death, right? And so, not only do you make these great combats, but you put a timer on them. And, I love this. I love this part, right? Meta for drama, right? And that's actually not a term that Hankrin Ferinale uses in a game, but I feel he's going into meta for drama. He tells the players, hey, in 3 turns, that dam is going to break, and you guys are going to be, and it's going to sweep you away, and and since a lot of you are at half your hit points, you very well may die, okay? And now the thing is, he just says that to the players flat out, right? And he says in the book, hey, maybe the player characters, they don't know this, but you're just going to tell the players, and the reason why is you're just going to ratchet it up. You're ratcheting that drama lever back, right? And I thought that was really cool, that just going meta so that your game has drama, right? And I thought that is really solid. I thought that was just a really, really cool way to go. So, and then treat, right? So you want to, all these combats, you come out of it with something, right? You come out of it with the sword that you were attacked with, or you come out of it with the backpack on the rogue you just killed. You're gonna come out of it with something, and I thought that's a really, really neat way to handle it, right? So you have all these all these different things that are there. He uses all these different dials. He also talks about the 3 Ds, and the 3 Ds were damage, disruption, and also duration. So all of this again is really talking about combat, right? So you want to make so your damage is really critical, right? And the way that this game deals with damage is weapon damage. Weapon damage is just a D6, and then magical damage is essentially a D8, right? And then you can get ultimate damage, which is like a D12, right? And these things are coming in at you, and because of the way the game is structured with these hearts, it really, damage is important. So you're bringing damage, regular number damage, just the way you would in Dungeons and Dragons. But then he's like, is that damage acidic? Is it going to be persist? Like, is it poison and they'll get additional damage each time? Is it lots of 1-point damages coming in from a swarm? And so he really, goes into high detail on how to talk about this. The other thing is duration, and there's just so much brilliance in this book. One of the things he talked about is he's like, the longer that combat goes, the more likely your PCs are to win. So you want to keep these things short. That's one of the reasons why you put those timers on them. So watch your duration, and carefully use duration of a fight to make it dramatic and to press your players, right? So you have damage, you have duration, and you also have disruption, okay? Now disruption, how do you use disruption? Well, disruption is throwing something into the mix that is surprising, right? And so he talks about how to use these disrupting influences and things within the game, right? And so let me think of a good disruption that he talked about. One of them was like, so basically, if you go into a dungeon, right, and they are fighting, a minotaur, right, in a cave, or let's say a troll. They're in a cave and there's a troll there, and they're fighting that troll, right, and they just start crushing it, right? Well, you could disrupt that combat with a swarm of bats, right? That one of them backs up against, or slips in guano and falls and makes a loud, noise, and now, they've triggered all these bats, literally 100 bats just coming down and hitting them, right? So disruption is another way that you can actually deal with these kind of things. He also talked about location, goal, and obstacle, right? Now this is for designing an entire adventure, right? So you need to think about your location. You need to, what is the location? And oh my gosh, he does such a good job in here. Like, he describes these locations so well and so evocatively in such a short amount of words. Like, you've got to witness this. I've never seen a writer that can do this, the way he's done it in this book. And so, it really is incredible. And so every location in there is, it's a high spire where the characters can fall, or, it's a murky dungeon where the algae on the walls glows and gives off different types of light. Or it's a rickety old ship and the storm is still coming in and rats are coming off the boat, to swarm over your characters. And like, the locations are truly dramatic, right? And then also location, goal, obstacle, right? You can build an entire adventure just off those 3 words, right? So what is the goal of the player characters, right? So like, let's take that rickety old ship that just, that they find, that all these rats are coming, that just crashed onto the shore and all these rats are coming off of it. Well, they may have heard a rumor that there's an entire, chest of gold on there. So their goal is to go get that goal, right? Now, what is the obstacle? The obstacle is the rats coming off the ship, right? There's literally a wave of them, right? And then when they get there, there might be the rickety old ship might be haunted, right? Or there might be some creature, some sea creature that's still clinging to the hull and comes up, and there's your obstacle. So it talked about location, goal, and obstacle. One other thing that he did that was just really, really fascinating was he has an actual an oath that players take, and it's really awesome. And actually, I don't want to break out into it because it's probably its own video. But the Gamemaster advice in Hankrin Ferinale's index card RPG is just truly wonderful. And honestly, I've read so many tabletop role-playing games, and a lot of times when I buy a new tabletop role-playing game, I'm reading that thing and I just got a big frown on my face because I'm like, I've read this before. And nothing in this game feels like I've ever encountered it before. It does have the same level of game design competency that I get from a John Harper game. His expertise reminds me of John Harper, but his enthusiasm, you just don't get that from Harper. And Hankrin Ferinale has that mixed into this game. It's truly tremendous, man. If you don't have index card RPG, you're just not living life to the fullest. Get this game. Take care.